I went to see them at Download 2 summers ago, and I thought, right, I'm going to check them out. But after the last tour, they've got to win me over again, arms folded, And by the end of it, I was smiling, just like with that inane grin, because the songs just stood up, and he was just funny, and I felt like I was at an event that was fun. And that is always something that I try and put across in my own small way, which is, if you're enjoying it, if you're getting into it, if you're singing along, if you're looking forward to that song in the set or whatever, then I'm happy to be a serviceman for your evening's needs.
Fantastic. And actually that leads me very nicely onto one of the first tracks actually that we're going to hear from your most recent album. We're going to be playing in a moment Big Star by your band Magic 8 Ball. Now tell us a little bit about this song before we actually play it.
A few years ago I was contacted by a very good friend of mine, and she said, "Oh, did you hear that Alex Chilton died?" And I was like, "Alex Chilton? Who's that? Is he the guy that wrote that song?" And she went, "Yeah." And she sent me this YouTube link, and she goes, "Listen to this." And I put this video on, and I was going to like humor it because she's my friend. And the song just floored me. And that song was called 13 by the band Big Star. And I bought the album straight away, and then I got to about track 2 and had to just actually stop for air because it was just so unbelievably awe-inspiring. And so began my love affair with them, that I felt compelled to write a song about them. And then a year later, I travelled out to Holland to see the surviving members do a reunion, do a tribute show. And I met them, and I became friendly with the drummer, who's just one of the nicest guys, Jody Stevens. You're not going to find a nicer person. And I told him that there's a song on our new EP called Big Star. It's an homage to your good selves. And we stayed in contact. And when the EP was finished, I emailed it across to him, and one of the founding members of Big Star wrote back to me and said that he enjoyed it. And that to me is probably one of the greatest compliments I ever have or ever will receive. And this song, Big Star, is what he was approving of.
That's fantastic. And without any further ado, we're going in just before we go into the song, though. As the chat room is going absolutely crazy at the moment, with all sorts of different things, including some of your fans who've kindly joined us in the chat room as well. If you have a question that you want to put to the lovely Baz, you can do this either one of two ways. You can either click the email me function underneath my picture on the Audio Burger website, or you can find me on Facebook and just post on the Eclectic Musings fan page for the show, and I will try and make sure that your question gets read out live on air. In the meantime, we're going to play Big Star by Magic 8 Ball.
The tigers die in a circus cage. It's enough to make you scream out loud. They should be shining like a real big star. to mean nothing. Oh no, don't you try to cheat us, don't you try to feed us words that mean nothing. Oh no, no, no.
The monkey tried.
And we're back. You're listening to Eclectic Musings on audioburger.com with me, Sasha Cooper. If you've just joined us in the studio with us today, we've got Baz Francis of the band Magic 8 Ball, whose track that we played earlier. And the last couple of tracks that we played just then, we had Big Star by Magic 8 Ball, and we also played Wild Honey Rock, the second track, Don't Believe It, and the last track was the brand new Adam Ant track from his latest album. Adam Ant is the Russian hussar marrying the gunman's daughter. Yes, I know, it's a very long-winded title, but a fucking amazing track. And those who have been listening to the show so far will know I'm obsessed with Adam Ant, because I love it. But more about him later. However, we are going to turn back to the wonderful Baz Francis. Now, before we got into that lovely kind of vibe there with Big Star, now, obviously, we've got to focus a little bit on your band here, because, as you said earlier, this is a very important part of your life. How did Magic 8 Ball come about?
Well, there was a period where I was focusing on writing songs, which I would write and record with a guy called Jack Jones, who would later become a member of Magic 8 Ball. And then I went through a very painstaking couple of years of trying to find bandmates, good bandmates, reliable bandmates, and that finally clicked into place 2005, 2006. And once the first gig was in the bag, I was determined not to be like my first band that did one gig and then broke up,